Hi, I'm Greta.
And I'm Claudia, and welcome to Knitters and Critters, where we talk about Critical Role Campaign 3 and, of course, our own knitting projects.
That's right. Well, episode 14 of Critical Role was a doozy. A lot happened, but we're just going to kind of give you the highlights. So, starting off with, Ashton gets their ass handed to them by a mercenary. Lady Emoth picks a fight with some guards and then tucks tails and run to her mama once the rest of the group gets involved to save things. Imogen coins the name Bell's Hells for the group. We'll see if that sticks.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Not feeling that one.
Yeah. And last, but certainly not least, Cyrus's troubles catch up with him. He gets arrested. Dorian helps him escape to Esteros' house, but the writing is on the wall for dear old Cyrus. Drusar is simply too hot for him. He's got to flee. And Dorian's going with him. No!
Seriously, the absolute best addition to the group.
Yeah.
Out of every guest. I mean, obviously, that's just my opinion. You're
100% right.
he clicked from the beginning. He was there with them. There was just such good chemistry between him and the rest of the gang, and I do feel like it's a loss. It's probably more manageable for Matt and to have one less person, but I do feel that Robbie added really so much.
Yeah.
And
that's kind of what we wanted to talk to you guys about today, too, is not only our own personal ode to how much we love Robbie, but also how you can guest in someone else's camp.
He was right there ready to serve, opportunity on a platter for somebody else to shine.
Yeah.
And, that is rare sometimes to find in a player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he was always really good about, if he wasn't sure what to do in a situation, he always went with the choice that he thought Dorian would make. He played his character to a T.
Right. He wasn't a metagamer.
Right. Yeah, very much so. He was always the one who was like, no, I didn't know that, actually. Or Dorian wouldn't know that, so I can't make that decision.
Right. Yeah. And I think in turn, I mean, the character growth in Chetney, when it came to Dorian, it was completely believable.
Yeah.
That he started out get away from me.
Right,
being a crabby old man.
Chutney, yeah.
And at the end, he wanted to murder Cyrus because he's the reason Dorian has to go.
Yeah.
And he comes to appreciate Dorian, and in just a few episodes.
Yeah, and it really was three or four?
Yeah.
I feel like it couldn't have been that much that they overlapped.
Yeah. And everybody was so emotional. Yeah. And a lot of critters were too. I was like, I don't want him to go.
Yeah. I mean, we all suspected that he wasn't going to be staying.
Yeah.
And, Matt, I think it was Matt. It might have been Critical Role in general coming from their feed saying there's going to be lots of guest stars and stuff in this campaign. So we kind of understood.
Yeah.
However, his loss will be felt so hard.
I think so. In all his 20s. I'm sure the party will miss all his 20s.
Golden
Oh my
rolls.
Goodness. I hope he left that dice for them.
Yeah. Well, especially given the way, shit went down. Episode 13 between Dorian and Imogen. I wonder how his leaving the party will affect Imogen's character and how she grows.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. I want to see what the new dynamic is starting with the next episode. And, I love that they were please text us every day.
Right.
Send us a selfie once in a while.
Take the stone and messages all the time. And he's like, no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Cyrus. Freaking Cyrus.
Breaking our hearts.
I know, definitely.
And it's true because his character was such high charisma, it seemed like, that he could have very easily been the point man for this group of characters. And I have no idea who's going to be taking on that role because they need some kind of leading personality.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of chaotic personalities, a lot of
At
big
least during like an
personalities.
actual mission, like when they need to go and do this very concrete thing, you know, they do need somebody who's going to be like, okay, you do this, you do that, and you check in with me, and you know, then we regroup out here, and we, you know, which is not happening right now.
It's not happening at all, and they're making believable mistakes for the level that they are.
Right.
It totally makes sense.
And it's within their character.
Yeah. They're all very believable. It's just like so painful to watch sometimes, like, oh gosh, as Ashton says, have none of you ever crimed before?
I know. Speaking of Ashton, I think the whole fight with Ashton kind of exposed a little bit how D&D is really good for some kind of fights and really not so good for other types of fights.
Yeah.
Like, you know, punch and this and like it was
when the punching only causes like 2 points of damage. Like
it was very like
I guess we're gearing up for a 45-minute fist fight.
Yeah. And I mean it you know, it happened and they got through it, but you know, I think in general D&D is just suited to different kind of fighting instead of
stop hitting yourself.
Pull your hair. Yeah, seriously.
Oh man, yeah.
I'm gonna miss Robbie.
I miss Robbie a lot.
Miss Dorian. Charming everybody in town. I'm not sure that guy is still at the bar.
I'm sure
he's still waiting for him.
There will be mass hysteria when people realize he's not in town anymore because he'll have broken so many hearts. Yeah, and Robbie as an actor, I felt he was very humble. Yeah. And like you said, a great scene partner, very generous. And, you know, as a guest, sometimes it's the desire. It's like, well, I'm the guest star here. Yeah. You know, let's put the spotlight on me. Or even the opposite, like, don't look at me at all. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm very afraid. We've seen that before. We have seen that with guests who like just... And, you know, they have a lot of people who are new to D&D, and so you can understand that a little bit, but it's like you got to know what you're doing, people.
You have to have a little run-through, you know, beforehand. And I think he did so well on both sides of the character and as, you know, a guest in the campaign. So.
I am so excited for the EXU little two-parter
Dorian Storm will return.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like they can't leave this whole Cyrus thread dangling, though. No. And with him going back to Tal'Dorei, like, what is that going to do? How are they ever going to solve the mystery of who actually stole the golem if they're on the wrong continent?
It's like Google Maps is not working with us here.
Yeah. So maybe, I don't know, we'll see if Orym and Fern decide they still want to follow up on that, because obviously they are still part of the Exandria Unlimited crew too. So maybe they'll decide to investigate anyway.
Or maybe Opal will show up.
Oh, I know. That would be my dream. No. Our shrine to Denise. I feel like we need some candles.
And I think, speaking of candles, and I think when she does show up, I think poor Liam is just gonna go, oh Lord. Here we go.
Opal is good for Orym, though.
Oh, like, absolutely. He needs somebody to pull that stick out.
Yeah, anything to make that sad boy smile.
Yeah, even if it means playing a, you know, girl toddler. Come on.
Well...
Yeah.
I think that might be all for the D&D portion of events today. How about we switch things up and talk about some knitting?
Let's talk about the knitting. Well, I see something green.
Yes, I am still hard at work on my Gwendolyn hooded cape thing. I have the hood created.
I love that.
So I'm just starting to work on the actual shawl part of it. First time ever picking up stitches. Never had done that before. Thank God for YouTube.
Right?
There's so many great YouTube tutorials out there.
There
are. And I'm still really enjoying this knit. One thing I did notice, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't just me, but you know math is not my strong suit, is I'm pretty sure there was some math miscalculations when she was describing in the pattern how to add stitches once you pick them up. My husband, who is much more mathematically inclined, did the math for me, and he was like, yeah, I don't think that makes sense. But, It's nothing you can't figure out.
Right.
Like, I figured it out. I'm sure it'll be beautiful anyway. But just a heads up to anyone who might be considering this knit, which I really do recommend. When you get to the shawl portion, just make sure you're checking your stitch count diligently. And luckily in the pattern, she does say at the end, like, by this row, you should have this many stitches.
Oh, nice.
Very much appreciate that.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
You don't get like 8 rows down and suddenly you're supposed to have 300 stitches and you only have 150.
Oof.
That would suck.
Yeah, that would suck. Yeah.
But I'm still really enjoying this knit. This yarn
That color is beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great color. It's this really... Oof. It's coming off a little bit blue on the screen, but it's a really dark green color.
It's like an emerald.
Yeah, it's a very emerald green.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, it's
But let's talk about you, Miss Burgundy Yarn.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I've gone full on with the burgundy yarn. So I'm working, as you guys know, and yes, I do have burgundy hangers because it's me. So this is, I haven't been working that much this week on my Benthe pullover. I did start the sleeve and it's just so beautiful and textured, and yeah, I'm just following the pattern, and like, if you ask me, I don't know how this is put together. This is why I'm not a designer.
Some kind of witchcraft made it happen.
Right? Because it's so novel to me and beautiful. But I think it's gonna be so nice once I finish it. So this is the heaviest yarn that of the 3 burgundy ones. This is an Aran weight, and I hope I can finish it. I think we'll be fine in Wisconsin for it to be cold enough for me to wear this.
During like these 6 inches of snow we got yesterday, I think we're in for a longer winter this year.
So I have been working on my Ola.
I love that sleeve.
Yeah, it's so pretty. This is the Buffalo Plaid colorway. I did a little update on this sweater a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
But it has grown, and like I had mentioned on that video, I put the body stitches on waist yarn because I just wanted to work on those sleeves. And it's a drop shoulder, and it has more lace at the bottom. And right now I am working on the ribbing for the cuff, so I'm almost done with one sleeve. And this
looks like that's been going together pretty quickly too.
It really has, even though this is the thinnest yarn. It's the smallest needle that I'm using out of all 3 burgundy sweaters. But I mean, I have been working on this mostly. So yeah, I'm very excited about this one. And because you can't have enough burgundy in your life, I had pre-ordered this yarn. The colorway is called Barrel Aged Sour. Ooh. It's by Explorer Knits and Fibers, and Allie does an amazing job with her colorways. They're just so beautiful. There are so many different tones in this, and I will put the link to the colorway as well, because it is turning a little bit bluer than it actually is.
But it's beautiful. You're right. There are so many different tones.
Yeah,
of reds.
I mean,
and
the layers,
brown and purple too.
The layers of color are just, they're endless. I mean, you can see a little bit of orange. You can see like all these different tones and shades that just give it so much depth. And again, another new construction. Like you knit the first
You're
row.
Learning so much this year.
Seriously. And then you cut the thread, and then you start in the middle, and I don't know what's going on. I'm just going to trust the pattern. Yeah. And
sometimes you just got to go with it and hope that it works out.
They know more than I do. So this is the Moonset Pullover, and this is DK weight yarn. Okay. So it's sort of in between the Aran and the sock yarn that I am using. And this one is also by Ozetta, by Hailey. And it's another, because it's so dark and because it has so many tones, I decided to just make something very plain. Yeah. It's all going to be stockinette. It's a V-neck, a little bit oversized, like a little bit comfy. kind of layering piece. And again, I think I'm going to get a lot of wear out of it in our Wisconsin.
Yeah. I think because it's still lightweight yarn too, you could probably get away with it in spring.
In spring, yeah, absolutely. And then once fall comes, you just put something else underneath it and you're fine. So excited. Yeah, so I am going hardcore in the burgundy. The way I think about it is I love the color, and I must say it looks good on me.
Yes, you look very good in
so, you know, they're all different sweaters. I'm not making three, you know, of the same pattern or the same look. One is very, very textured. The other one is very, very lacy. And the third one is a very, you know, classic V-neck pullover.
Yeah.
You know, I think I will definitely use all three in my wardrobe.
Yeah.
And it just brings me joy. Things like that will
never go out of style too. So it's like you could be wearing them for years. Go for it.
Absolutely. So if there's a color you like, I love Gay. You might know her as Gigi Made It. She knits everything in orange. Orange is her color. She wears it beautifully.
I wish I could wear orange.
And yeah, I can't. My sister wears orange lipstick, and some of those are very dodgy decisions. I'm just saying, I love you, sis. Not my love for you, but some of those are a little dodgy, my friend. But Gay just wears them so beautifully, and they're her signature color. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, during the 90s, my closet was burgundy and black, and I think I'm headed back that way in my old age, the ripe old age of 50.
Well, I feel like I'm catching your blue fever, because for a while you were doing everything blue, and
yes.
Yeah, so I think whatever I do next is probably going to be that pale blue.
Yay.
I could be painting my kitchen that color. I've been doing digital art, and Claudia sent me a little swatch of color for her character's dress. And I've just been like staring at it like, I could put this on my kitchen. It would look great.
That is funny. Oh, that is awesome.
Well, stay tuned on all of our projects. Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Please, please, please like and subscribe. It means a lot to us when you do that. And comment. What colors are you obsessed with?
Absolutely.
What will you miss the most about Dorian? Talk to us.
I love you, Robbie.
I love you, Robbie. In the meantime, well, happy knitting, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.